With some schools celebrating homecoming virtually or not at all, the Texas tradition to wear a mum has fallen to the wayside. Our Marissa Cummings shows us how one local shop is suffering because of it.
This vibrant pink storefront in Corpus Christi sells everything your DIY heart desires. But when they shine the most is homecoming season. Emma Nguyen is the manager of Superstar Crafts. She says homecoming season is when they make the most profit.
During homecoming season, you will turn like half of our store to everything for homecoming, like mom, trinkets, ribbon.
But this year, they've designated mum decor to just this one corner. Nguyen says usually they'll begin stocking the store with mum decorations in August. But because many schools pushed back or canceled their homecoming plans, she didn't start setting out anything until October. Nguyen says this year, less than 10% of sales are from homecoming crafts. Without the flow of cash, she says she's had to let a lot of employees go.
We just have only me and another staff, we don't even have more people.
Not being able to anticipate COVID-19, Nguyen says they have hundreds of shipments containing ribbons, flowers, bells, and more that won't get used this year. She says if the store isn't able to sell the crafts, they'll be unable to pay back the loan they used to purchase them, and she'll start accruing interest.
When you borrow money to buy the stuff, and after the homecoming season, you have to pay back the loan, if not still, but now you have to sit there for another year.
Nguyen says with homecoming season being a dud, the store is tailoring crafts to gear up for the holidays. Marissa Cummings, 3 News.